I'm ready to go.
Alright. Welcome to my first maintenance video. I will be maintaining my EGO 11 for all of you. Well, let's get into it. Pretty basic maintenance for the EGO 11. Pop the bolt out. Oil if need be. Clean off any paint, whatnot. Eye covers. If you have experienced a break in the eye covers, clean the paint out of that. You'll see the detent and the eye wire. You can use an Allen key or an O-ring pick to take the detent out. It's up to you. And you can just clean that. If you're experiencing any problems with your marker not firing, you're going to want to change the battery. That is probably the best and first option to do. Mainly the battery, because sometimes the EGO 11 and just any Planet Eclipse general, it with the LCD screen does not properly display the battery percentage, and it'll say there's more battery than there actually is. So replacing the battery, if you have a problem, is probably the first thing you should do. Now once the screws are removed, you're going to want to be careful not getting these wires stuck and ripping them like so. The pops is pretty much easy to take apart and maintain. I will show you right here. Push in this pin all the way. The pin will fall out. Don't lose the spring. And then you can just pull it off. There's also this pin in here that you will not want to lose these O-rings to. Those are important. Keep those aside. And then you can just clean the threads in there and whatnot. Lube the inside of the fitting. Won't really need to do anything here. Trigger, everything else almost unserviceable. There's really nothing you can do to it. Regulator. Wouldn't recommend taking it apart and cleaning it often, as it would it's going to mess up your settings in the gun. Just give it a good cleaning once and leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Noid, wouldn't recommend taking it apart and cleaning it, but if you have to, there will be an O-ring underneath this plastic plate here. Underneath that plastic plate, and there will be an O-ring. This, it's going to look like that. LPR, wouldn't recommend taking it apart, as it would do the same thing as your high pressure regulator. It's just going to fluctuate your settings and the internals. It's just recommended that you don't take it apart that often. If it's really dirty and you're seeing a lot of fluctuation between velocities, then I recommend taking it apart and cleaning it, because that's probably your main issue right there. But for the rammer, we'll take that apart. You're going to find a back cap, a rubber seal, and the rammer. In this case, is a 2 rammer. What that little rubber seal does is just softens the blow when the rammer hits the back of the marker, creating a softer shot. Feed neck, if you get paint in it, yeah, I'd recommend taking it apart, but recommend oiling in between the actual feed neck and the lever, so you don't get this marring and chipping of the paint and the ano. That's pretty much all you're going to need to know for the disassembly. Now for the reassembly, it's pretty much everything but reverse. Now for this part, you don't want to be careful. You don't want to pinch your solenoid or your eye wires. So what you're going to do is make sure you're paying attention to where your wires are when you're closing up the marker. You're going to watch the eyes. Try not to pinch them. I like to give these a tug. Light tug, you don't want to pull them too hard, you don't want to pull them out of the socket. Yep, right, nothing's pinching. Nope, we're good to put these frame screws back in. When seating the bolt back into place, you're going to want to make sure that it's actually in place by pushing it forward. If it wants to spring back, that means it's in place.